This podcast will fail. Mostly because nobody is going to listen to it. But you might prove me wrong. Who knows? And here we are at episode 11. This podcast will fail. And I'm going to get right to the meat of the topic conversation today will be the time I wrote a book and everything that happened prior to writing that book, what led up to it, and the whole thing. Though a quick programming note for myself, I think it fell off, I guess, the viewership, so to speak. Not that there was one, and not that there would be one. But it's interesting that I noted, 3 to 4 views on each episode up through about 2 or 3 episodes ago. And then the last few, as predicted, nobody is listening to. So anyways, that's just a timestamp for myself for future reference. I want to talk today about a bit of a lifestyle journey and a huge change to me personally, physically, as I am a middle-aged man who has suffered with weight issues for a lot of his adult life. Not too serious health issues to go with it, but enough to say so. So, as I've said all along in this series, I'm a content creator. I create video and I create audio and I've created live programming and writing and all kinds of digital art and media. And I've not really found too much success. Most of everything that I do eventually either fails or kind of just peters out and dies quiet, miserable deaths. So in 2019, I decided that I had enough of being overweight. It's a problem that I've had a very long time, not ridiculously obese, but realizing that I'd struggled with trying to, do weight loss a few times over my 20s and 30s, and nothing ever really stuck. Hey, fail at weight loss too. But, I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'd kind of had enough of being tired all the time, getting winded so easily, having no stamina, just thinking like you spend so much time being sick and tired and being overweight and feeling like a fat balloon stuffed into a sausage, So I spent a lot of time researching and trying to understand how else can I do this? What other thing can I try? And I saw keto as an opportunity. The ketogenic diet, the low carb no carb type of diet. I had a family member, sister-in-law, who was also kind of struggling with weight for a lot of her young adult life. She fell into a health crisis moment with a diabetic situation, and her doctors put her on a keto diet, a strict keto. So I was kind of looking at her example and started to wrap my head around the science of how your body uses fuel and how different types of fuel cause your body to react in different ways. So I won't spend this entire podcast talking about the science behind keto, with the exception to say that I started the keto journey at 270 pounds. I think it was 272 to be exact. I was a big boy, 43 years old, going, this is nuts, I can't do this, so let's try this keto thing. And started at 270, and over the course of about 7 months lost 70 pounds. I pushed myself all the way down to 203 pounds. And I can say confidently, and I did say confidently, that I didn't weigh 203 pounds after 7th grade, right? By the time I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, into high school, I was already 215, 220, 225, moving into adulthood. So to drive myself down that far was a huge achievement for me, right? I've been on blood pressure medication for 20 years that I've had blood pressure issues because of my weight. So I got off blood pressure medication. I fixed that problem just by losing the weight and getting healthy. Okay, enough about keto itself. I did it. It worked. And what else can I tell you? You know, that everybody's got their own preconceptions about diets in general, but I made a lifestyle change, and it worked. So, but now translate that into the space of content creation. Okay, so this is 2019. I was basically on a break with my YouTube channel. I had reached a point where I was just out of ideas. I didn't have any driver motivation prior for at least a couple of months. I had just sort of stopped making videos towards the end of 2018, and in the same situation, the same logic applied. I just ran out of things to say, and I didn't want it to come off as forced. I didn't find any particular joy in the creative process at that time, so I just kind of stopped. But I realized that this keto journey was potentially an opportunity to make content again and make videos again. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and document my progress week to week to week. Starting week 1, here I am. I'm 270 pounds. And I did these as very candid, sit down, headshot interviews of myself talking about the journey. I figured it has literally nothing to do with my YouTube channel prior, and it doesn't fit the quote-unquote niche, if I ever had one, a niche, depending on how you say it. But I figured I got nothing to lose. Let's just sit down and have these frank conversations, no pretext, once again, no real production value. Very similar now that I think about it. Here we go. We're having a revelatory moment, folks. I didn't want to put too much into it. I wanted to just sit down, turn on the camera, talk, give an update on where I was with the diet and with any potential weight loss. And it very quickly fell into a nice rhythm. And I was publishing videos every week. They were, being watched to the same degree or a little less than any other video I ever published. It wasn't like turning any new heads in my direction. I did make 1 or 2 new associations of folks that apparently were out there looking for keto videos. But it was cool because then I was able to document in picture and image and video form my transformation from a fat guy to a guy who looks like he maintains a pretty healthy weight. No, I wouldn't say I was a skinny guy after that, because I wasn't, and I'm not now. But it was good. It was good to walk through that and document all of that. And as I reached the end of that, and I, by the way, when I started the diet, I set a goal. And I said I weigh 270, right? That's my start. I want to weigh 215. That is my goal. If I can be 215, I will feel like an Adonis. So that was the goalpost. So when I reached 215, I was happy, and I was effectively done. I had published all the videos. I had documented my journey. I had accomplished a weight loss goal. Now that's interesting because I'm thinking through this whole subset of ideas and thoughts around when I make things that are just making them to make them for myself versus when I pivot and decide that, okay, that means there's got to be an opportunity to make money. There's got to be an opportunity to turn this into some kind of a business, into some kind of a venture that has a real reward, financial or otherwise, beyond just getting healthy and not being a stroke victim anymore. Stroke risk, I should say. I was never a victim yet. Thank you. Anyways, so I pivoted, and I realized that I had the opportunity and the desire to write a book about my journey. And I did. And I sat down And I actually cheated a little bit. I went in and pulled, for all intents and purposes, the transcripts of the weekly videos, and I turned those into like a diary in book form. So I kind of leveraged, right? I leveraged the content that I had already made and translated that into a book. I did write a whole front section of the book that was like trying to explain the science as I understood it, trying to document what I learned along the way about the body and about nutrition and all that stuff. And that was the front half of the book, and then the back half of the book was the week to week diary. I had big hopes. I had big hopes for that book. I really thought that this made sense, right? And I was pitching it from a position of, I am not a doctor, I am not a nutritionist, I am not a health expert, I am not a health nut, I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not any of these things that would otherwise qualify somebody to speak on the subject of something like weight loss and healthy eating. But I am here to document in book form for you what I did, what I learned, and what worked. So I did. The cover was cool as hell. Worked through Amazon, KDP, self-publishing. And I put it out there. I wrote a book and I self-published it, and almost no one bought it. No one wanted this thing. No one wanted this book at all. No, that's not true. I mean, I sold probably 30 copies or so. Every once in a great while, I'll get a notification, or I'll get somebody that'll pop up on the side and go, "Hey, man, I bought your book," right? I had one employee, a former employee of mine, buy like 3 of them and give 2 of them away as gifts to people. So that was kind of neat. But, when you add up the time and energy and thought and planning and all of the work I tried to do, the groundwork to make the book successful, it wasn't successful. It was yet another basic failure. It didn't go anywhere. It didn't work. And again, it's kind of disheartening, right? And a lot of people acted like they were excited for it, and that was great on the street level, down here on the ground with me, some friends and family and ancillary contemporary contacts and quote unquote acquaintances, not really friends, bought the book. Yeah, a small pile of them. And that's about it. I don't even think I made $100 on the book. Now, return on investment wise, okay, well, it literally cost me nothing other than my time and my mental sweat equity to write the thing. So it's not like I lost money. I didn't pay an editor. I didn't pay a publisher. I didn't share a cut of profits with anybody. But, it failed. It didn't go anywhere. I have a copy of it sitting on my desk, in my desk drawer at work. I don't have a copy of it on my mantle, so to speak, at home. I think I thought at one point that I was going to have a copy of the book sitting like on my desk with my other knickknacks and bric-a-brac and things that I collect and milestone stuff. No, I don't even have a copy of it there. It's part of it was that the market for that subject and that type of book was just completely oversaturated. I thought that I had done the work to understand the keywords and a way to kind of position and market it. The presiding rule for me is that I always think I know how to market something, and then I completely fail at marketing the thing. I don't know, maybe I should have gone to school for marketing, I guess. I never went to college in the first place. I barely graduated high school. I've said in other episodes of this podcast that everything I know how to do, I learned by teaching myself in the real world in the moment and just figuring out stuff and doing it. But marketing and promoting, I have just never been good at. I don't know that I ever will be good at it. I suppose that I could learn the right way. There's really not necessarily anything stopping me. But I suppose if I'm really looking at it, it's never been that I don't have a creative drive. It's never been that I don't have interesting ideas. Plenty enough people tell me that I have interesting ideas. I just really suck at execution. And even when I successfully execute something, I really suck at getting it out and getting it seen and getting it noticed and getting it sold, right? I just can't sell. I can't sell anything. I'm not good at it. That's just I think the reality that I honestly have to own up to and contend with. I don't know how to position things in a way that people will find them interesting and pay money for them. I don't get social media advertising at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why I spent so many years trying to chase the prospect of things going viral. Like that was ever going to be a reality for me. And I did have those couple, 2, 3, 4 videos that sort of went viral to the tune of a couple of 100,000 views, but nothing big, right? Nothing I've done has achieved stratospheric level success. It's not happened, and I don't know how to make it happen. But there's still some positives, right? I'm not as skinny as I was. I told you I pushed myself all the way down to 203 pounds from 215. I will say that, returning to something of a normal lifestyle, I'm back up to about 230 now. And I've seen that kind of bounce up and down, 225 to 230, and it goes up and down a little bit every week depending on what I do. I'm not strict keto. I'm just really low carb. I still eat way too many calories every single day, and I snack too much. But I try to make them keto snacks for what it's worth. Back on blood pressure medication, that sucks, but that's the reality. I think the moral of today's episode is that I started out with just a life goal and a thing I wanted to accomplish and an idea that I could document it, and I could just create something for myself, create a video diary and put it out there. It doesn't matter necessarily. And here we are. That's what I'm doing with this thing, with this podcast. I'm documenting something for myself, and I'm publishing it out into the world where people could potentially see it. Some people did potentially see it, but it's not going anywhere, and I have no expectations that it will. And I have to have that battle with myself almost on a daily basis now as we get into this thing, as we're, moving through this season 1 and documenting my 15 years of failure. I have to stop myself from looking at the number of downloads or plays or whatever, and just remind myself that I know going in that this thing will fail, that nobody will watch it. And even if somebody did watch it, if you were there at the beginning 2-3 minutes ago, 2-3 minutes into this thing, and started to play it, I know you're not here at the end of this 20 minutes, and that's okay, right? I know that I'm talking to myself. There is the outside chance that someone or someone's might find this someday and find it interesting and follow it and listen to it, and that's okay too. But I don't have any illusions that that's going to happen. I am confident enough that this whole thing will be just the complete failure that I know it is. So there's that. There's my keto diet journey and the content creation around it, and the attempt to write and sell a book which failed miserably. So now this takes me up to last year. That takes me up to 2019, only a year ago. And there's still a couple more spots that I need to cover and talk about. There might be a few things. I was kind of thinking through it this morning. There might be some stuff I skipped that I might revisit before we get to the penultimate flop that brought me to where I am to starting this podcast. So, okay, that's good. That's enough for today. Thanks for anybody that spent a little bit of time, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one.